Well, E3's coming up. You know what that means. The Resident Evil 2 remake may very well be a possibility at E3 2018. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting. This might finally be the place where Capcom pulls that curtain back and says, hey, look, this is it. This is awesome. We did it. You know what I mean? But it also could be that time and place where Capcom stays silent once again. So I wanted to come on here one last time before E3, unless something pops up, to kind of remind you guys to kind of, I don't know, put your expectations and, you know, make sure they're realistic. Because if you go into E3 and you think that they're, you know, it's a guaranteed thing that they're going to show off the Resident Evil 2 remake and then they don't show it off, well, you're going to end up being disappointed. Now, if you go into E3 2018 and you say to yourself, well, maybe they're not going to show anything off, maybe it's all just rumor, it's all just BS, maybe the Resident Evil 2 remake doesn't even exist, and then they show it off, well, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. You know what I mean? But if you go in with that expectation that, you know, expecting essentially nothing, then you don't leave yourself up. You don't set yourself up for disappointment. And that's really how I'm going to take E3 2018. Because last year at E3 2017, I was there, by the way, you know, I was really looking for the Resident Evil 2 remake, thinking that, man, maybe they have it here somewhere or something like that. Nope. No sign of it at E3 2017. And that very well could be, and I don't want it to be, but that very well could be the case at E3 2018, you know?
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Hold your fire! I'm a human!
They could very well stay silent once again here at E3 2018, despite the recent rumors and all of that jazz. And really, if they do, let's assume that they do. Let's assume that E3 2018 comes and goes and they don't show off the RE2 remake. Where do we go from there? Are we back to square one? Are we back to being just left in the dark? You know what I mean? Or are we going to say, are we going to give Capcom yet another chance and say, well, Michael, you know, maybe at TGS, Tokyo Game Show, or maybe at the PlayStation Experience, they'll talk about it there? I mean, how many chances are we going to give Capcom? Again, assuming, of course, they don't show it off at E3 2018. It's kind of hard to sit there and say that because, you know, everything kind of points to this being shown off at E3 2018. After all, this is the 20th anniversary of Resident Evil 2. They didn't mention Resident Evil 2 on its birthday, so maybe they're waiting for a huge surprise at E3 2018 or something like that. At least we hope, right? But I got to go back to the point that I made earlier, is that don't expect that to happen, because if you expect that to happen and it doesn't happen, you are setting yourself up for disappointment. And you don't want to do that, because if you do that, you're going to go away from E3 and you're going to say, oh man, Capcom, they really blew it this time. And really, honestly, this is it for me. This is it. I've been talking about the Resident Evil 2 remake for years. And this is it. E3 2018 is it. This is their opportunity to say, hey, look, this is why you should care about the Resident Evil 2 remake. Prove to me, Capcom, that this thing exists. Prove to me that it's not just vaporware at this point. You know, even if they just had a little teaser, not even gameplay, not even a release date, and no information, just a little teaser of Leon like emerging from the flames, and they cut to black and it says Resident Evil 2. That's all I need. I just need, folks, confirmation that this thing is still being worked on. Confirmation that this thing is happening.
Leon, sorry, but it looks like your party has been canceled.
Because at this point, like I've said in my previous videos, we really have nothing to go on. We don't. We really don't, folks. When you really look at it, the concrete stuff that's out there, we only have that video. And again, in that video, that initial 2015 announcement video, they basically said that they're going to update us throughout the development process. They failed to do that. They failed to stick with their word. So it's really hard to believe them at this point. It's really hard to trust them at this point. But again, E3 2018, for me, and I'm sure many other fans, this is the time and place for Capcom to really say, hey, look, we know you've been waiting, and we're sorry about the wait, but we did it, you know? So, if you enjoy my Resident Evil 2 remake videos, please consider subscribing to stay up to date on all of the latest Resident Evil 2 remake information, assuming, of course, that we get more information. You know, again, E3 2018 could come and go, and it could still be like where we're at today, where, you know, we have no information, we just keep getting rumors and we keep speculating, and I'm just getting tired of the cycle. We need something concrete, we need something soon, and E3, folks, 2018 is that time and place for Capcom to essentially redeem themselves, because at this point it's inexcusable. It really is. And I know people are going to sit down below and defend Capcom and say, well, Michael, video game development is complex, video game development is sophisticated. Yeah, that's true. I'm not saying it isn't. Obviously it is. But there's many other games out there that haven't come out yet, and yet they have something to show for. For example, Dead Island 2, Deep Down. There are many other games that still aren't out, that don't even have a definitive release window, and yet they at least have something to show for. Yet here we are with the Resident Evil 2 remake, and we're just continued to be left in the dark. And I hope E3 2018 is that light at the end of the tunnel. We shall see. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much. I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys fairly soon, hopefully, with some really juicy details on the Resident Evil 2 remake. Take care.